Hi everyone, Jordan here coming at you with my first book overview and review on this channel. Before we get into it, please let me know what you guys want to see down in the comment section below. I have a few in the works as of right now, but I'd also love to hear what you guys want to see from me. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into Albert Camus' Rebellion, Resistance, and Death. I messed that up. It's Resistance, Rebellion, and Death. Let's get into it. So this is actually one of Camus' lesser known works. It's not something as popular as The Stranger or this Myth of Sisyphus or even the Rebel or anything like that. Even The Fall, I would argue, is perhaps a bit more popular than this specific book. It isn't up there in the same camp with them, but I do find myself coming back to it just because of the nature of it. It's essentially a short anthology of 23 different essays that Camus wrote, and they all deal with kind of war essentially, and specifically World War II and the events surrounding that war. If you guys are unaware, Albert Camus was actually a writer for the French Resistance during World War II, so he was involved in that. As you can imagine, that influences some of his writing in this book. The first essay that we read is called Letters to a German Friend, and it's Albert Camus writing to a German friend who's become a Nazi and become super nationalist, and it's him writing to him throughout the war. And so you have letters that start in 42 and it goes all the way up to the end of the war in 45, and it's really good stuff. It's a great start to the novel. Along with that, there's another short essay in here titled The Flesh. It's about one of Albert Camus' best friends who is a resistance member, a resistance leader, and it's really good, really detailed. It's very melancholy, but it is really, really good. It's definitely one of the ones I recommend. And then the third favorite, I guess, essay of mine, you could say, is Reflections on the Guillotine, detailing guillotine and kind of social cancers in terms of how does death affect society. It's really, really good, really thought provoking. That one's the longest read in the entire book, I want to say. It's 40 pages. This is a book that you can pick up and put down really, really easily, but I definitely recommend, if you do get it, to start with Letters to a German Friend. It's just the easiest one to get into, and it's pretty funny and interesting to see what Camus thinks as the war goes on and as France progressively comes back essentially and wins, and eventually Paris is liberated. So that's a really, really good one to start with. Now, if you guys have read any Myth of Sisyphus, that is a very heavy Camus book. This book is not similar to that at all. It is very straightforward. It is okay, this is what's happening. It's very easy to pick up. And this is what's happening. These are the characters. This is how it happened. This is what happened. It's very straightforward. It's really, really not super hard. You don't really have to go back and reread a lot of sentences over and over. It took me forever to get through Myth of Sisyphus, and I'm sure if I read it again, I would not know exactly what I was thinking when I read it the first time. You do not have to do that with this book. It's really, really straightforward. There's of course a little bit of philosophy, some absurdism, sprinkled in there. This is Albert Camus. He's not going to write a book and not talk about his philosophy. But there's nothing really crazy going on. There's no imaginary crossroads you have to imagine in Myth of Sisyphus. It's very, very straightforward. It's really easy. So I'm gonna rate it. If you're a college age student, even late high school, you can pick this book up and understand what he's saying. I'm gonna rate it a 3 or 4, because I mean there are some metaphors and there is some stuff going on where you're let me read that again just to triple check what he means. But it's not like you're rereading every sentence. It's pretty straightforward. In terms of length and bang for your buck, it's not a very long book. It's really short because of the way that the stories are oriented. Again, there's 23 short stories. At least it says there's 23 short stories on the back. I don't know if that's particularly true. Thinking back, I thought more 10 or 15. Maybe there is 23 short stories. I guess they're some of them are broken up into sections. Anyways, the longest one, as I previously mentioned, is 40 pages, about, if that, I want to say. So it's not you're reading for a super long time, any massive drawn out story. A lot of them are just kind of thought provoking, thought experiments in essence. And it's really, really nice to be able to just pick it up and put it down. It's only 272 pages, so I want to say on average, each essay is 20 pages. I want to say something like that. That even seems high because it's 272 pages. If there's 23 stories, it wouldn't be 20 pages per thing. But it is really easy to pick up and put down, and that's one of the reasons that I like it so much. Actually, is that you don't have to sit there and invest several hours into reading the book. You just go, you flip it open, you're like, okay, let me read Letters to a German Friend. You're done with it in like 20, 30 minutes if you average like a page per minute, I want to say. So like it's pretty fast, you know, it's fast reading, it's good reading, it's like thought-provoking reading. You can do it while you have a busy day, you can do it while you can read this whole thing while you have a slow day. I read it on a plane. It was very easy to run through. It wasn't anything like crazy. So this book ran me at Barnes and Noble. It says it ran me $15. That's not what I'm seeing on Amazon. On Amazon, I'm seeing $16. Now, if you go into the link in the description, there is an affiliate link for me for Amazon. So if you guys buy from that link, I get a little kickback. I get a little money from them. So if you guys do want to pick this book up, I definitely recommend using that link. If you want $1 cheaper, go to Barnes and Noble. You can definitely find it for cheaper at like other places at like used spots as well. Because I do know $15 for a book of this size is not necessarily ideal. Now, if we take $16 and divide 272 pages by that, we're getting 5.8 cents per page. So you're paying a little bit more than you would on average. But again, these are like super, super short essays and they're condensed with a lot of information. There's a lot going on. You get to see a glimpse of Camus' life and especially like the Letters to a German Friend. I've never seen him write like that. Like he kind of stunts on the friend. If you guys know what that means, he kind of like dicks on him at the end of the war. He's like, "Go fuck yourself, you Nazi." Essentially, it's great. Absolutely love it. So again, like 5.8 cents per page is like in pure length and pure just volume. If you're looking for something voluminous, this is not it. Like you can find much better books, but the reading is very like not dense. It's just a lot, and it gives you a lot to think about, and you dwell on things for several days after. It's not just a one and done, you know. So I would still recommend picking this book up at the $15 or $16 price point. If you can find it for under $10, which you definitely can, I would definitely recommend doing that. Now, getting into my final rating, my overall rating, taking the low difficulty and then the above price per page into account, again, that's kind of like arbitrary because some books are going to be $30 and they're going to be 100 pages. Some books are, you know, it kind of varies. But you do need to like anticipate price in your rating. Anyways, taking those into account, I'm going to rate this book a 9.1 out of 10. It's a really good book, and maybe I'll change my rating on it later. I'm not entirely sure. Being as it's above $10 new, I think that kind of brought it down a little bit. If it was closer to like that $12 or $13 range, which I think most Camus books are, I have one in the back there. I think most Camus books are closer to like $12 or $13. This one being a little bit more expensive is interesting. So that kind of brought the rating down a little bit. But again, go to a library, go to like old bookstore, they'll definitely have it for like $5, $6. Probably be a little tattered. Maybe have a little, you know, we like when books have a little character. You know, mine has a little mark right there. So yeah, I mean, I love Camus. I would rate it higher, but that price point is kind of high, and then the volume is not like insanely high. Like I would definitely like to see some of these things expanded upon a little bit more perhaps, but you know that's all right. We've got plenty of Camus books to go around, and this is like again a little bit more of a rare find. Like it is a very fun book to read. I would definitely recommend you guys look into it. It's one that a lot of people probably haven't read. A lot of people just read Rebel, like The Stranger, first of all, and then like Sisyphus, perhaps. You know, Sisyphus is a really good one. But you know, they read those three. Maybe they'll read The Fall, and then like there's a few others sprinkled in there that I haven't gotten around to quite yet. But like this one is one that I notice is not usually talked about. If you go on like Goodreads or something like that, I feel like it's not really talked about that much. So go ahead, pick this one up. It's really good if you have time to just sit down 20 pages at a time. You know, 20 pages a day is going to take you not very long. So I definitely recommend looking into it. I'm really happy that I was able to get it at Barnes and Noble. You'll probably be able to get it at your local Barnes and Noble if they're still open, you know, for you guys. But if not, you can go order it on Amazon. You can definitely order it on like I'm trying to think of like used booksellers. I think Abe Books is like one of them. You can definitely go buy it there. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy the video, please drop a like and subscribe and let me know what you guys want to see next. I hope you guys enjoy this book. If you do pick it up, please let me know what you think. If you're like, hey Jordan, this book sucks, then let me know and I will tailor my things away from this. But I really like this book and I think that everyone should read it. It's really good, really thought-provoking. There we go. I love you all. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.